Hey everyone, happy Sunday, happy Independence Day weekend. I'm Todd Alsop. I am your musical guest this weekend for the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles' service. I'm going to start off with this little inspirational tune, and we'll get things going. You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out and move mountains. We're gonna walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise like the day, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. I'll rise up, high like the waves, I'll rise up, in spite of the ache, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you. When the silence isn't quiet and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe, I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet and move mountains. We're gonna work it out and move mountains. And I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. Yeah. For you, for you, for you, oh, for you, yeah. All we need is hope, and for that we have each other. For that we have each other. We will rise, we will rise, we will rise, we will rise, oh, we will rise. I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, in spite of the ache, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. We'll rise up, high like the waves, we'll rise up, in spite of the ache, I'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you. Oh, yeah. Eh.
Good morning, Todd.
Good morning, Keith.
How are you this Sunday afternoon for you?
I'm fine and dandy. How are you?
I'm wonderful. On Sunday morning, I was just about to acknowledge that I requested that song because it has going to have great meaning for us in the message that I shared this morning. But as I was hearing you sing it, I realized that it is a testimonial for you right now. Since
Yes, it is. Yes,
Right?
it is.
So for our viewers and participants and congregants, Todd is in Provincetown, Massachusetts right now, sharing his shows, one Elton Undressed and the other George Michael Freedom, both wonderful shows. And you're there for the summer, a residency in Provincetown, but based out of New York City, correct?
This is true.
Yes, and you're healing from a bike accident a couple of
Oh
weeks.
my gosh, yes. Well, I'm healing from, I had like a bunch of back pain and then I got thrown off my bike and was all bruised up and trying to open 2 shows at the same time. And we are over the hump and settling into a nice groove here. And it's,
And
the crowds are
rising
coming
up.
into Provincetown and we'll be busy and that'll be great. But it was rough going for a bit, but we did have to rise up quite a bit, yes.
Right. So it was serendipitous that this song was the selection for the day, is it
It
not?
was indeed, yes.
Good. Well, Todd, it's the second week in a row that we've been so blessed, or we are so blessed to have you with us. I'm excited to share this time with you today. And thank you for being here. I know we've got some really special pieces of music prepared to share with our community. And I'm so glad you're the person to do
Cool.
it. So,
I'll
see
be back in a
you
bit. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox, and I'm the spiritual leader here at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, based out of, well, let's say Los Angeles. And I'm happy you're here with us on this day, July 2nd in the year 2023, as we kick off a new month, as we all are if we're study the Gregorian or use the Gregorian calendar. Our theme for this month is freedom. ... And so today we're going to take a look at freedom in the context of being individuals of the divine, expressing our humanity and our divinity all at the same time, of finding an opportunity to reconnect to that place within us where we know that indeed all is well. And it's from there we can rise up and evolve in mind, in consciousness, to tune in to that power that is within us and the qualities that we're imbued with as divine beings to indeed make a difference in our own lives, ultimately making a difference in life itself. Today is going to be a day of multimedia, and so I'm going to put the first slide on the screen right now as we step into our service this morning. It is a welcome slide, and it is just saying to us, welcome into this environment, into this space, into life itself. And know that as the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, our vision statement, which you'll hear various times this morning, is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. I invite us all to hear that through the lens of freedom. Freedom to be who we are as individualized expressions of the divine. We are here as a community to support you, the individuals of life, finding your own personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. This next screen that we have shows the freedom of individual being able to express themselves freely as we celebrate and welcome in the 4th of July weekend. I love this meme and this graphic of Liberace kicking his heels up or their heels up and playing with their baton. It's such a representation and a reflection of fun and joy and independence, and sharing that moment with the one and only Art Carney. Today, I invite each and every one of us as we celebrate this time of independence in our country, the United States of America, that we feel free to set ourselves free to do whatever it is that turns us on in the sense of being free and fun and brings us joy and not causing harm to others as we do so. Once again, I am Reverend Dr. Keith Cox, and we like to open our service with the act of namaste. Namaste is a Sanskrit word meaning I bow to thee. In its modern day incarnation, it's believed to be the God in me honors and acknowledges the God in you. As I said a moment ago, we are here to honor that stamp of individuality that Spirit has placed upon itself and called it you. Today, let's choose to honor that self in a new way and to honor that unique individual that expresses itself by means of Spirit in all expressions of the divine, by placing our hands together, taking a deep breath in, exhaling, bending forward, saying out loud, if it feels good, namaste. The power of the divine honors and acknowledges that within you. I bow to thee. Not out of an act of supplication, but out of an act of honoring, acknowledging, and celebrating. That's who we are here at the Center for Spiritual Living. We welcome all races, all religions, all countries of origins, all sexual orientations, all genders, all abilities. We stand with you in consciousness as well as shoulder to shoulder when we're in person, but shoulder to shoulder with all of humanity as we walk through the daily activities of life. For you and I to choose to find our personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, it's incumbent upon us to honor the divine that exists within each and every being of life itself. So please join me in saying together, we as a community welcome one and we welcome all. As a community, we've come together for 30 plus years now in the land of Los Angeles, California. We are specifically located as our home in West Hollywood, California. We teach primarily the philosophy, faith, and way of life known as the science of mind. In its most simplest terms, the science of mind is a compilation of all the great spiritual philosophies that were unfolding in the world leading up to the 20th century. Ernest Holmes, being a practitioner of New Thought, a way of looking at spirituality in a new way, put all of his perceptions of these into a moderately concise book that informs us, if you choose to believe it, that there's only one power that exists in the universe. Not only one power, but one power that exists in the universe. It expresses itself in all of its totality by each one of us through our individuality, and that we both experience and express it through our thoughts and our beliefs and our actions and our reactions and interactions with the very thing itself. Because we live in a universe that is indeed governed by spiritual law, we get to experience that which we believe ourselves to be in all of life, in the field of life itself. And so we get to look at our beliefs, the totality of who we know ourselves to be, not from a place of being punitive, but through the opportunity of making a choice to think anew, and then to believe anew, and to then think anew and believe anew, to live out our vision statement of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. One of the ways that we like to do that here in our very beautiful community is to have a ritual called calling in the light. This ritual of calling in the light is done with the purpose to draw into our gathering this morning a more conscious awareness of our oneness and the qualities that we possess as complete expressions of the divine. I say them often, and I think it's important for us to hear them often, that they are indeed peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. The divine isn't restricted to these qualities. These are just qualities that we believe we all have within us. And that the more and more we tune into those qualities and the frequencies of these qualities, and we'll talk about that a bit later, the more and more we reflect our divinity, therefore more than likely stay out of conflict with our humanity if it isn't reflecting our divinity. And so today we perform this ritual, this ceremony, to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths and all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, that one power. It's that which we call spirit. And so fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience. It's that which we honor here today in this ritual. I'd like to use the golden rule from these various faith-based spiritual belief systems as a catalyst and impetus for each of us as we honor the lighting of the flame as we see on the screen, and as a way of life, should we choose to align with it, that will provide us opportunity to be more self-empowered and have spiritual awakenings, as we engage in the freedom that we have as beings of the divine, and living out this freedom as we celebrate independence in this country. I know this week and the weeks leading up to it have had difficult times with some of the decisions that are coming down from what is called our Supreme Court. But let's all remember that we're not ruled by the outside. It certainly has an impact on our life, but ultimately it's up to us individually to co-create the life we desire. And so let's let these different teachings be an example for us as I read them off. The golden rule through Buddhism is to hurt not others with that which pains yourself. Through Christianity is to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. In Hinduism, it's treat others as you would yourself be treated. Islam, do unto all men, meaning male and female, and everything in between and beyond, as you would wish to have done unto you. Judaism, what you yourself hate, do no to man, meaning human. Native American of the shamanic traditions, live in harmony, for we are all related. And from the sacred earth, philosophies, faiths, and spirituality, do as you will, as long as you harm no one. The next part of our ritual is to sing along with a song that's been sung in our centers and churches and facilities for many years. It's titled, Let There Be Peace on Earth. Peace, from my perspective, being the acronym DADDY, is purposeful energy activates conscious evolution. Let's choose today that as we sing along with this song with Todd, and the lyrics will be on the screen, not only do we tap into the foundation of each time it's ever been sung in any environment whatsoever, and that our contributing to it today builds upon this purposeful energy and indeed is making a difference. Todd will take us on this journey.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Thank you, Todd. I loved singing along to that just then. I was singing quite boastfully in my room here and assuming everyone else was doing the same. And I love singing along with you. This next song that Todd has for us was a suggestion by Todd, and I think it's perfect given this weekend that we're here to celebrate our independence and our freedom, both as a country as well as individuals of the spirit of the divine. For some, it may have a heartache along with it, given what's been unfolding in our country. And I bring that forward because I know that what has been unfolding over the last bits of time has indeed caused heartache and pain and fear and doubt as to where we as a country are headed. I think it's important for us to remember that we get to choose where we're headed, both in our own life as well as within this governing structure. And so Todd's going to sing for us his rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner. I invite you to open your mind, to open your heart, and to open yourself to love, and to remember to love this country, and to be thankful for what we have in life. We have a lot of good in our life here. Todd?
You dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
So wonderful. I think we're going to have to add to your repertoire of celebrities and musicians that you do them honoring and justice Whitney Houston to that.
She's the reason I make music. Honestly.
George, she is? Yeah.
She was the yes.
You remember the first time you heard her sing, even on the on the record?
For sure, yeah. How will I know?
Yeah. I don't remember the song, but I remember I was with someone I was dating at the time. This would have been in the 85-ish, 86-ish, right? And him saying to me, I have some music I want you to hear. And he put her album, I get goosebumps all over just thinking about it. And
The most insane voice of all time.
Yeah.
Like she was really the first singer that I started to listen to closely and be like, what is she doing that's just so magical? And she's the reason I make music, truly. Really.
I believe what she was doing, if one watches the films and the documentaries and hear her interviewed, what she was doing was giving herself the freedom to let spirit out through her gift of music.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she was doing.
Yep.
And I think that at times that became so powerful, her choices that she made in her human life was trying to dim that light.
Yeah.
Right? That light was, and obviously people in the world around her, and not just her ex-husbands, but people in the world around her were trying to put her light through a specific prism.
Sure.
I believe caused a prison for her. So
She's very similar to George Michael in that regard.
well, I think when one has brilliance, many artists are tortured, right? Because that
Sure.
brilliance, you got to have an outlet for that, right? There
Sure.
has to be an outlet for that. Well, I'm so happy that you have an outlet for your brilliance because you indeed are. You're incredibly talented and gifted, and we're so blessed to be able to witness that and be the recipients of it. So thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you so much. Thanks, you guys. I'll be back in a little bit.
Alrighty. Wow, right, everyone? So fabulous. And I'm so glad Todd suggested that. And, Todd's one of those musicians. We have many, as you all know, in our cauldron. I don't know if that's the right term, but cadre, is that the right term? Wendy can tell me what the right term for that is. Of potential musicians. And there are several of them. I don't even suggest as a rule of music for them to play. I trust them implicitly. And there's others we have to curate that. So, but Todd is one of those that just is like, okay, whatever you tell me, it's your thing, baby. So, freedom, give him the freedom. That's what we're here to look at today is freedom. I'm going to put the slides on the screen. I'm so excited to share these slides today because yesterday I had a moment of, I had an allergic reaction to something. I don't know how, I'm trying to give you pretty words to it. And my eyes were swollen shut, my throat was swollen shut, and I was like, wow, I have to prepare for Sunday. And I started looking through my library of stuff that we've done before, and I came across this slideshow from I think our second Sunday together after COVID. I've played with it some and updated a little bit, but I'm going to share this message with us today, both looking back from where we've come as well as using it as a forum and a format to look at this concept and play with it in a somewhat new way. So welcome to July 2023 from a foundational slideshow. Some will be different than you'll see from March 2020. We're here to step into our holiday weekend of freedom. What does freedom mean? Dr. Ernest Holmes tells us that real freedom means that man, the human, is created in the image and perfection and let alone and allowed to make the discovery for himself. Freedom of will means the ability to do, say, and think as one wishes, to express life as one personally desires. Jesus taught, "Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." The understanding of truth or infinite principle, Dr. Holmes tells us, is the emancipator. That we are bound by our very freedom. Our free will binds us. The universe, being deductive only, cannot refuse us anything. The very force that makes us sick can heal us. As one realizes his oneness with the creative mind, she is released from the bondage of false thinking. They see, too, that freedom means liberty, but not license. Let's take that in again. I'm going to read the whole thing back to us because I want us to all hear this and feel it. Real freedom means that the human is created in the image and perfection, and let alone and allowed to make the discovery for themselves. Freedom of will means the ability to do, say, and think as one wishes, to express life as one personally desires. Jesus says, "Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." Holmes tells us that the understanding of truth, infinite principle, is the emancipator. We're bound by our very freedom. Our free will binds us. Yet, the universe, being deductive only, and only receives, cannot refuse us anything. The very force that makes us sick can heal us. As one realizes their oneness with the creative mind, they are released from the bondage of false thinking. They see, too, that freedom means liberty, not license. Thank you, Ernie. To be free. I love this animated graphic of, I'm free, I'm really free, I can fly. We all know that feeling, whether we are literally flying on thin air or air itself, and most of us, not all of us, have never literally done that, being able to wave our arms and float through the sky. But metaphorically, we know that feeling to free ourselves from old thinking, to free ourselves from a bad situation, to free ourselves from being enslaved and chained to the past. It's by letting go and rising up that we have the opportunity to leave that lower element of life and rise into a reflection of that which is our divinity. Hence the song that Todd sang earlier, Rise Up, and part of our message for today, Rise Up. Being, once again, the daddy of acronyms, I love them. And so the one that I have for rising up is relaxing into spirit, energizes universal power. Let's look at that through the lens of the previous slide of I'm free, I am flying. It's trusting that invisible, creative, all-purpose, infinite power that will support us as we relax into it. It will then carry us on into the next expression of who and what we are, moment by moment by moment, awakening by awakening by awakening. The concept of this that I think is so important to us to realize is that it is the relaxing into spirit. By letting spirit do its thing, not feeling it's our need to control or coerce, because we can't do either of those. But we certainly have an impact on how we experience spirit, and that is to what degree are we willing to trust it, to relax into it, to rise up into it. Well, how do we do that? The great Nikola Tesla says that if you want to find the secrets of the universe, one must think in terms of energy, of frequency, and of vibration. So let's look at that. Energy, and you hear me talk oftentimes of energy and vibration and frequency. Energy, from this perspective, is the power that is derived from the utilization of resources or source. Energy is the power that we get from the thing itself. Yes, in our teaching and philosophy, we do indeed also call that God. Frequency is the rate at which the vibrations occur in an electromagnetic field. It's the energy around us and to what degree they are vibrating. The vibration itself is a person's emotional state, the atmosphere of a place, or the association of an object as communicated to and felt by others that is from the source. So you and I are called to use our energy in a way to emit a frequency that causes a vibration that is reflective of our energy or our source itself. Peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom. Well, what is a vibrational frequency? It goes on to tell us that everything is energy and has a vibration. From the chair you're sitting on, the one I'm sitting on right now that's squeaking and squawking, as well as the pump in it has moments of collapsing, so I might drop further down, to the thoughts we think, that all has energy and vibration, as to the colors that you see. Look beyond where you are in this moment and take in all the colors that you see, and we see them as somewhat one or two dimensional. But let's open ourselves up to see them as multi-dimensional, to realize that the colors we see, whether as I'm looking across my room and see rainbow colored beads that had come from a pride event where I see the red and the blue and the green and the gold and the purple are all have their own vibrational frequency, to the red on the chairs I see on my deck outside, to the green on the leaves that I see from the beautiful leaves on all the plants and the flowers that I see outside my window, to the black that's on the curtains. All of these have a vibrational frequency and an energy to them. In the book, Frequency, the Power of Personal Vibration, we're told we have a personal vibration that radiates from us and that it changes depending on what we're thinking, feeling, and doing. Just like the beads and the chair and the tree and the sofa, we too have a vibrational frequency that we are emitting and emanating. Tells us this from this book, and that it radiates from us, and that radiation and that frequency and its impact that we are emanating changes depending on what we're thinking, feeling, and doing. We all know that. It goes on to tell us that you can let your personal vibration match the world's chaotic soup of frequency and feel buffeted about helplessly, or we can determine how we want to feel. That's why I thought it was important for us today to reconnect to the Star-Spangled Banner, to reconnect to the freedoms that we have in our country, to make a decision to honor our independence and our ability to choose to express ourselves as we want. It goes on to tell us here, your personal vibration or energy state is a blend of the contracted or expanded frequencies of our body, our emotions, and thoughts, given at any given moment. Let's you and I remember that the more we allow our soul to shine through us, the higher personal vibration will be. We were just speaking of that with Todd regarding music and Whitney Houston and George Michael and those with great gifts of music. But we all have that gift within us of some form or fashion. It's living our passion, passing our eye on to the world. And the more that we allow that to shine through us, the higher our personal vibration will be. Now, remember last week, Dr. Maureen Hoyt and I talked about the concept of higher and lower consciousness. And I was reminding her that I was speaking of that in the context of a higher vibration, in the context of the map of consciousness, meaning that which is more reflective of our divine nature. And I'll get into that in just a moment as well. But I want to make sure that we're clear on when we speak of higher personal vibrations, it's of that which is more in tune with our soul. The more we allow our soul to shine through us, the higher our personal vibration will be, and we're not only affected by our own vibrations in life, but also from the vibrations of everything around us, people, places, and things. Since everything is energy, it makes sense that all vibrations have an effect on us, both positively and negatively. We all know that. The key to being able to navigate life itself in a way of trusting how we respond to these vibrations is what our founding minister, Dr. David Walker, would say would be being prayed up. It would be being so confident and secure and trusting of the power within us that as we navigate life, we know what to feel good about and what to trust positively or negatively, whether we are safe or we're not feeling safe or insecure, but how to move through life connecting to our vibrations and the vibrations that are around us and using those either effectively or letting them overpower us. Why does this matter for us to be in tune, and what does it mean? Because old school metaphysicians and even today, we know that all that there is in life is consciousness. I like to define consciousness as our awareness of our awareness. It's also defined as our mental awareness. Old school metaphysicians define consciousness as the sum total of all mental activity, not just our own, but all, because we all are interconnected and interrelated. This includes the conscious, the subconscious, and indeed, race mind. Why does that matter? Because it's important for us to know how we are emitting and expressing our vibrations and our frequency and our energy, and what consciousness, what state of being is behind that. This is a concentrated version of the map of consciousness, where Dr. Hawkins created this scale to be able to determine what frequencies people, individuals, are vibrating at, with 0 and 20 being the lowest, shame, a way of life, all the way to the highest of 700 or 1,000 of enlightenment. Dr. Hawkins studied thousands of individuals using this template to determine where individuals fit into the category of life, or whether one was living life through courage or neutrality or fear or grief or apathy or acceptance or love or joy or peace. Also, what Dr. Hawkins learned in his years of studying thousands of people is that most individuals develop these core belief systems somewhere in their early teens through their early to mid-20s, and unless they choose consciously to make a difference, they only move 20 degrees one way or the other on this map. Today, I invite each of us to look at this map on the screen and ask ourselves, where do my core beliefs lie? Most of humanity in the developed world vibrates somewhere in the high 100s to 200s. A great place to be. To begin with 200 there at that level of courage, meaning courage not in the sense of physical strength, but courage from the origin of the word of living from the heart, of having the willingness to live from the heart and allow our soul to shine through us so that we may evolve into a higher frequency and a higher consciousness, to move into a state of neutrality of not looking at life as good or bad, in a state of neutrality of not looking at someone as being evil or good, in a state of neutrality of not feeling like we have failed or succeeded, but in this place of neutrality of the willingness to surrender, if you will, to the power of the divine so that it may guide us into these greater expressions of who we are. To move in a state of willingness and an acceptance of the way that life truly is, which on a practical way of life begins to show up as transformation. Our external world will, of course, transform as a result of what we are indeed transforming in our own consciousness, which then gives us the opportunity to move up into a state of reason. Reason meaning accepting our reason for being here is to express our divinity, which then can pull us up into a higher frequency, which is love. We've talked about this many times. We're not speaking of love as an emotion, but love as an awareness of life and how we show up. Love as this allowance of spirit to give of itself more and more and more of itself. In other words, to reveal more and more and more of that light that is within us. That's a heart-centered way of life, which then can bring us further up into a higher frequency of joy, and then peace, and then enlightenment, the consciousness of the divine, the ultimate in life. I share that with us today, not so that we can look at it and judge ourselves or be punitive, to feel as if we're not being where we desire to be, but as an opportunity to realize that we have a pathway before us, each and every one of us, and we're free to engage in that pathway to live out our destiny of revealing our divinity. It's really all about understanding that life, our life, is a blackboard which we can consciously or unconsciously write the messages that govern us. Today we get to open ourselves up and release the shackles of the past as we celebrate our freedom and begin to write new messages on the blackboard. We get to ask ourselves, what are we writing on our blackboard of life today? And if it's not reflecting the desires and the wishes and the truth that we like to know about ourselves, let's erase what's there and write something new. We have the ability to do that. Dr. David Hawkins tells us that the mind, in and of itself, which each and every one of us have and are one with, cannot discern appearance from essence, and thus the devotee learns to turn a deaf ear to thinkingness and focus instead on the knowingness of wisdom from within, as revealed by the great teachers over long periods of history and reaffirmed as the presence of self. Hawkins is telling us here that our role in revealing our divinity, to move up that scale to enlightenment, or as close to there as we can get, is not about what we think, even though thinking is important. It's not about how we navigate the world as much as how much we are willing to let the power that is within us rise up and make itself known. It's about surrendering to the essence of the power of peace and beauty and joy and light and life and love, and letting that reveal itself through us. That comes from trust. It comes from faith. It comes from willingness to do so. Today, you and I have the opportunity before us to step into a state of conscious evolution, of taking a quantum leap in our beingness, of accepting the power and the qualities that we are imbued with, to allow ourselves to be consciously living in oneness. We do that by giving ourselves the space to view the outside world and the colors of that world through the lens of multidimensionality, of feeling the vibrations and the frequency of the divine that is expressing itself in all expressions of life. We address this in our opening ritual called Calling in the Light, to move into that state of being whereby we promote the universal consciousness of life, and we acknowledge that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, that which we call spirit. Conscious evolution is moving into an awareness of that and living from that awareness. It's the practice of balancing our spiritual beingness with our human doingness, and then never losing sight of either, and understanding that that is the key to wholeness, to revealing our oneness. It's giving ourselves permission to rise up, to relax into spirit as it energizes itself, universal power, making more of itself out of itself. That's what it's here to do. And you and I are the medium by which that happens, should we say yes to it. And to remember that we have the freedom to do so. And that with that freedom comes free will. And so it's up to you and it's up to me as to how we use our free will. Is it for the purpose of healing and revealing our oneness, or is it in a state of being punitive? We're here to transform. The alchemist is the one who transforms all energies into higher frequencies of light and love. They're the bringers of a new dawn, transmuting the old paradigms into a higher intelligence and order. They act solely for the highest good of all. The alchemist is the one who not only transforms these energies, but takes that which is darkness and holding it in light and in love and the power and the heat and the trust that it will indeed transform, revealing the goodness of it all. The alchemist knows that love is the only master they answer to. Love, the self-givingness of spirit, whose desire is to create more of itself out of itself. The only way it can do that is through you and through me. That is why we look at the orbs of light when we say calling in the light. It's to see the light that is within, that is indeed the power of transformation. Light and love are both qualities of the divine. We have that within us, yearning to give of itself, more of itself in a new, freer way, moment by moment, feeling by feeling, emanation by emanation. We're here to relax into spirit. Imagine if just today was the day that we each allowed ourselves to relax into spirit. It's going to feel different for each and every one of us. But as we do that, because we know it's there because we're being it right now. And as we do that, it indeed energizes itself and reveals more and more of itself. It seems oh so simple, and yet we make it complicated. But today we can free ourselves from that complication and begin to open up in a new way by following certain or particular different elements. The Taoists tell us this. In ancient China, the Taoists taught us that a constant inner smile, a smile to oneself, ensured health, happiness, and longevity. Why? Smiling to yourself is like basking in love. You become your own best friend. Living with an inner smile is to live in harmony with yourself. Let's you and I choose today to intend to smile within and to remember that our intent behind our belief is more important than the belief itself. Why is that? We've talked about it hundreds of times because Deepak Chopra has informed us that we know that intention, inherent within the seed of this intention, is the fulfillment of its desire. That's its nature. And so today, as we relax into spirit, let's let Rumi guide us, as he tells us on the screen, to let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray. And let's know that what we truly love is not only that thing that is our own individualized gift of expressing spirit, but it's the love of love itself. It's the energy behind the self-givingness of spirit. Spirit, that thing that we are choosing today to relax into and rise up. It's by choosing to have an inner smile that our heart comes alive. And it begins to burn with the flames of its own essence. Let's you and I remember as we continue on our journey today and as we step into the celebrations of our independence in life and honoring our country, to trust the timing. Let's remember that every step of the journey of our life, we're here to trust the timing of our life, to stay patient, to stay calm, to stay determined, to stay focused, and most of all, just to trust our journey. And to remember that a thought that emanates from an awareness of love and connectivity is way more powerful than a thought form that's emanating from a sense of separation and fear. There is nothing for you and I to fear, to feel separated from. We have before us today an opportunity to choose a thought that is indeed emanating from an awareness of love, from an awakened heart, from a heart that's on fire, extinguishing all that is unlike its character and revealing all that is its character of love and light, of peace and joy, of beauty, of power, and of wisdom. Today, you and I have before us to honor the divine in ourselves, and indeed to consciously honor it in each other. For Namaste is indeed the way. Thank you so very much, and have a fabulous holiday weekend. Todd's going to come back and sing another song for us to wake us up to the freedoms within.
Yeah. I won't let you down. I will not give you up. Gotta have some faith in the sound. It's the one good thing that I've got. I won't let you down. So please don't give me up. Cause I would really, really love to stick around. Ooh, yeah. Heaven knows I was just a young boy, didn't know what I wanted to be. I was everything so hungry, school girls, pride and joy, and I guess that wasn't it for me. Yeah. Win the race, pretty fish, brand new clothes and a big fat face on your rock and roll TV. But today the way I play the game has got to change, oh yeah. I think I'm gonna get me some happy. I think there's something you should know. I think it's time I told you so. There's something deep inside of me. Someone else I've got to be. Take back your picture in the frame. Take back your singing in the rain. I just hope you understand. Sometimes the closer I make the man, and all we have to do now is take these lies and make them true somehow. All we have to see is that I don't belong to you, and you don't belong to me. Yeah, yeah. I won't let you down. I will not give you up. Gotta have some faith in the sound. It's the one good thing that I've got. I won't let you down. So please don't give me up. Cause I wanna really, really love to stick around. It looks like the road to heaven, but it feels like the road to hell. When I knew which side my bread was buttered, I took the knife as well. Posing for another picture. Everybody's got to sell, but when you shake your ass, you notice fast. Some mistakes were built to last. That's what you get. I see, that's what you get. That's what you get for changing your mind. That's what you get. I said, that's what you get. I just hope you understand. Sometimes the blues do not make the man. Whoa, yeah. And make them true somehow. Is that I don't belong to you, and you don't belong to me. Yeah, yeah. I won't let you down. I will not give you up. Gotta have some faith in the sound. It's one good thing that I've got. I won't let you down. So please don't give me up. Cause I wanna really, really love. Stick around. Hold on to mine. Yeah, hold on to mine. Yeah. You got to give for what you take. May not be what you want from me, but it's the way it's got to be. Yeah, you got to give for what you take.
Yes, sirree. Love it.
Thank you.
Honoring George Michael.
Indeed.
Indeed. What a fabulous song.
It's a pretty good one, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I just see the video in my mind, right? So Just fabulous, fabulous.
Do you know the story about that video? Can I tell you the story very quickly?
Sure, you can tell us.
He went through a period. He was the biggest star in the world in 1988 when he released Faith, and he hated stardom so much, it made him feel more lonely than ever, that he, on his next album, said, I will not go out and promote this album. I will not tour, and I will not do interviews, and I will not appear in videos. So instead of appearing in videos, he hired supermodels to be in his videos. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
And that's the Freedom video.
Jean-Paul Gaultier, I believe. Yes.
Yes, and then you had the Too Funky video, which was by Terry Mugler.
Terry Mugler, that's what I was thinking, yes. Yes. Well,
yep.
Todd, is there ever any intention to... I'm only giggling because the screen is on the wall. The YouTube is up there to follow it as well.
Yeah.
And right after I said, yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Terry Mugler, you had just shaken your finger to something else, and all of a sudden I said, oh yeah, that's right. And then the screen at me from you shook your finger. It's like you're going, yes, that's it, from a different screen because it's about a 4-second delay behind. It's so funny. Hysterical. Thought George Michael's coming back from the dead to school daddy.
That's right.
So is there ever or do you have intention, or have you recorded your show, the George Michael show, in video format?
I have not, because it's sort of like a licensing, question. But, I'm hoping to sort of have an opportunity to bring the show to the West Coast sometime in the next year,
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Let's trust that you do that. Well, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for shining your light, for shining and sharing your joy, and for always bringing the love that you bring here. And I know that your Provincetown experience is just going to be fabulous and wonderful. And I know that there is a bevy of boys all headed there this week for Bear Week, and then it's just going to keep going. So it's going to be a great, great summer. And I have a little bit of envy that I'm not getting to be there. So
we'll get you out here one of these summers.
I've been there before. I haven't been there I haven't been since COVID. So it's time to change that. So
yep.
Yeah. All right, thank you. So I know you got one more song to do, but a big thank you for being with us today. And
thanks, you guys.
Celebrate who you are. A big thank you to Travis Smith for taking care of us with an audio, lights, camera, and action today. And Robert Hensley, who works as our support through our technology as well as our administrative assistant, and helps us get our social media out there and all that you do. And a big thank you to each and every one of you for choosing to spend a portion of your day today with us here at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, whether it's live on Zoom or through YouTube, or at a later date you watch us and have the opportunity to connect to the wonderful energy that transpires here in this environment, and the opportunity that we each have for revealing our oneness and to grow and glow and to know as spirit itself. I'm going to put on the screen right now an opportunity to support our community financially, and know that we honor and acknowledge each and every one of you that supports us financially, that we may thrive and continue to be who we are, making a difference on this planet. The opportunity is to go to our website, csl-la.org, and click on donate. You go to our app in the App Store, Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. The way to do that on the app now is different. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see an option to just click on the screen. If you haven't updated the app, you can go to our website and find out how to do that, or there are instructions to do that in our weekly e-newsletter. It's really a QR code. That's the easiest way to do that. You can mail in a check at 1200 North La Brea Avenue, West Hollywood, California, or if you need to do that privately, my number's on the screen. You can call me. Todd's going to come back on the screen and take us through our conscious giving song called Love Is My Decision. I invite each of us to listen or sing along as we make a conscious decision to support our community financially. Thank you.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give up my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. No, once I decide to change my mind, Source will show me how. Love is my decision. It's my decision. Right here, right now. Once I decide to change my mind, source will show me how. Yeah, love is my decision. It's my decision. Right here, right now.
And so it is. Thanks, Todd.
Thank you guys so much. See you soon.
Yep. This upcoming week, as we do each and every Wednesday morning, we have a midweek morning meditation that takes place at 8:30 a.m. through Zoom. You can get that information through our website or the app and or our weekly e-newsletter. We'd love to have you all join us for that. Also know that each morning a New Thoughts text for the day goes out. You can sign up for that as well in those various locations. You can follow us on Facebook and or Instagram. You can also find us through our YouTube channel. All of that information is accessible through our website and our app. I know and affirm for each and every one of us that today has been the day and will continue to be the day that we're each more and more and more self-empowered because of the spiritual awakenings that have taken place today. Those that have taken place today have not been because of me, but because of Spirit expressing itself in the totality of this service, trusting and knowing that each and every one of us we're able to glean and learn something and reveal something that helps us continue to share our gift and to share the light that we called in earlier. And so I thank you and I honor you for being here. And I affirm for each and every one of us that we're in our perfect and right place, being the divine in all of its glory. We're going to close with an affirmative prayer and or meditation. And when I say and or, it just depends on how I feel as I'm giving it. So you'll feel that in just a moment. And then after that, we'll say goodbye to those of you that are with us on YouTube. If you're here on Zoom, we can say a brief hello before we all part ways and go about celebrating the holiday weekend in the ways that bring us great joy and give us the opportunity to emanate and vibrate the frequency of love. If it's comfortable and safe where you are, I invite you to close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. And I affirm for each one of us today that we are growing and glowing because we're knowing who and what we are as divine beings. Today is the day that we choose to be free. From the past. To open up to what's possible for us in the future. And begin to imagine ourselves evolving, spiraling upwards on this map of consciousness into a higher field of vibrations and frequencies that reflect the energy of life that we are. Allowing love to express itself by means of us. And so today we remember that we remember that we know that we know. That the very thing that binds us is the same thing that frees us. And it's our mind. So we consciously release, whether we're aware of what we're releasing or not, anything and everything within our being that has held us down. We choose to know that there is no external that is in control of our destiny. And that our role on this journey is to reveal our divinity. And so we see ourselves navigating and moving through our life. And potentially walking the same physical journey, but doing it from a new state of being. From seeing colors from their vibrational frequencies. By emanating light and love from our own heart. And by consciously magnetizing and pulling in love and goodwill, indeed what's called miracles, into our lives. And then choose to magnify, to propagate, to expand this way of being. We do this to the best of our ability. Remembering and knowing that Spirit's got our back, baby. And for that we say thank you. Thank you, because gratitude is transformative. We desire to live in a world of transformation. Knowing that the law of life is always responding. And it does that by corresponding to our state of being, so we're aware of how we choose to be as a being of the divine. So we inhale together and exhale, letting it be. And so it is. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. Let your light shine. Go have some fun. Live life. Share your light with others. And know that you are indeed a child of the divine. Perfect and whole and complete, just as you are. Happy 4th of July.